Hello, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to talk about how I track time with org mode and its feature called org clock. So basically, I want to keep track of the time that I spend on my computer, and a part of doing that is, of course, using it in Emacs. And org clock is a feature I've used before pretty extensively for tracking how much time I spend on assignments, but after archiving them, I really never looked at them again, so it wasn't of great importance to me to use it that much. But recently, like over the, I guess, Christmas break, or maybe slightly before that, I started using denote-journal to make a daily file for the days that I spend time at my computer. And so as part of that, I have a template that tracks the time that I spend like just loafing around, basically, like watching YouTube or reading some blog post. And I will add headings for tasks that I'm doing that I basically just copy from my agenda or are not significant enough to put on my agenda, like updating my website or solving some Linux problem that I invented for myself to solve, basically. Yeah, it could be literally anything that's not. And so part of that is clocking in on that task so I can see how long, and basically at the end of the day I do like a breakdown with this thing called the clock table. So I put some example times here that show, like, this is the Russian word for loafing about. So it's the time I spent loafing about, essentially. And I don't know why I did that. It just kind of makes it a bit more interesting. And so you can see these are separate entries in org clock. So I can show you what it looks like by default in default Emacs. So we can do test.org. We have a title, make that a bit bigger. We have a title, clock table. And so we can have a heading, let's see, what, like reading a book. And we'll do org clock in with Control C, Control X, tab, or Control I, which are the same thing, for org clock in. And you can also just run it through the Meta X menu like usual. And then it'll start a clock for you. There's literally dozens of videos about how this works. But this one is specifically talking about how I use it. And so we wait a little bit and then it shows us the time. And yeah, basically that's it. And let's get rid of that file actually. I don't want that. And so the thing that is most helpful for being mindful about what I spend time on is the clock table, really. So like periodically throughout the day I'll just Control C, update that. And it's an org dynamic block, which basically means it's like this kind of well, it's like a block that updates dynamically, basically. And then you can change these options about it, which I change using a Lisp function in my writing Lisp library. We can take a look at that, I guess. Journal. Yeah, so this is the function that sets up the template for every day. It will insert certain headings, so the task for the day, and that day is evaluated through a Lisp function, of course, and inserted as a string with format. And then it'll create another heading because I always waste time at one point in the day, pretty much. So I will just already have it there because I know I'm going to do it. Because we can't be productive 24/7, and sometimes I want to watch a YouTube video. And then some notes for today is like, oh, I could have gone to the park or something. So if I feel that it's notable, I can just look back at it and see, oh, or if I had a really bad day that day, I'm going to maybe write a couple words about it. Or something good happened that day. Usually it's something good. But then afterwards, it'll create an org clock report function, but then it'll evaluate these options, because I think it's some kind of, it has something to do with scoping. It's not too terribly complicated, but this is what I found, probably on Stack Exchange or something like that. And so it just inserts it at the bottom after this clock table function, and after I create a new note, it'll just be there automatically. And then after I collect some of these entries, it'll populate itself automatically and show, oh, I spent this much time on this heading, but this much time on the computer in total. So that's very useful. That's probably my favorite part of the clock feature, is being able to view them all together. So yeah, that's good. And also, a cool thing you can do is set the effort for a task. So we're going to be like, okay, I'm going to ski today, and I'm going to clock in right now for the task which I'm obviously skiing, and I can do Control-C, Control-X, E, because I want to ski for 1 hour. And then at the bottom it'll show me this mode line indicator for the time I'm clocking in, and it's like out of which I have spent 0 minutes out of the hour that I plan to spend on this. I talk about this more in my article that I'm going to release along with this video, but when I study, I generally want to study for about 50 minutes at a time. And I also made this indicator from scratch using the same functions that org mode puts on your mode line normally. So I don't know how to get rid of this, but I have found a way to do it. I don't think on this computer I've synced up the changes that fix this, but typically on the default Emacs it'll show you this little mode line indicator, but I replaced it with my own, so it just disappears when I'm not clocked in and appears like this when I am. And the cool thing about that is, well, first of all, it has colors in it, but then I can put like 1400, so that's like nearly 4 hours ago, and it'll be like, oh, you're spending 4 hours on this. And some reason it sent me a notification, which is pretty cool. I didn't know it could do that, because I haven't really used this that much for the effort thing, because I just discovered it a few days ago. Yeah, it'll turn red, or kind of pinkish red, when it's time to go and be done with it. So clock out, and then it's angry at me, I guess, because I spent more time on it than I had planned. Oh, I suppose I should show the daily files. So they're in a separate directory from the rest of my denote notes. They're in this subdirectory called journal, and these all have the same title, and they have their own unique identifier, which is the date. This is all default, by the way, pretty much. And you can see through the calendar, I used the denote-journal integration for the calendar. The days with the boxes around them, I used a daily file. So I'm not very consistent, as you can see, for how much I've done it these past few while, but over here I did it a lot more, because this was when I was still in school and studying for finals and whatnot. But then here I was basically loafing about 24/7, so I don't really need to track that. I know that I spent a lot of time at home during the break not doing anything super productive. If you're wondering, these orange highlights are the more of the holidays. They're not daily files. The ones with boxes are daily files. Aha, here it is. It appends the denote-journal calendar mode, which is denote-journal calendar mode. Yeah, I guess that just does that automatically. And then somewhere in the file, journal calendar. Oh yeah, it's a hook. That's what it is. It's not an option. It'll enable the journal calendar mode, which probably we can look at it in the source code, which is the best part of Emacs. It will, let's see, it'll mark the dates, and if you remove the hook, it'll unmark the dates, basically. Let's see how it marks the dates. These are probably, yeah, it marks it with a box. So basically what this function does is when there's a date or something like that and the date is visible, then mark the date, which is the date, which is the function here, and then it will mark it with the face that's defined right here, which is just a box. So you can probably change this because it's a denote-journal calendar. But you could probably change it with your own custom theme. Like if you had your own fork of a theme, you can just add support for that to be like rainbow colored box. Probably, I don't know if you can do that, but something like that would be pretty cool. Anyways, I think that's it for this video. I hope that 2026 can be a productive year for us Emacs users and those who want to learn about it. If you have any questions or suggestions about this workflow, please make a comment or send me an email. I have a contact page on my website that you can see in the top bar or the sidebar. And thank you.